We're jumping right into a quiet, kind of uncomfortable realization that hits so many of us. You know the exact feeling I'm talking about. It usually sneaks up on you late at night when the house is finally quiet, and you just start doing the math in your head. You've worked for decades, you've done everything you were supposedly supposed to do, and yet, looking at the numbers, the idea of true financial security still feels like a totally distant, maybe even unrealistic milestone. It's incredibly frustrating. But look, I want to set the record straight right from the jump. If you're feeling this way, you are absolutely not alone. Today, we're going to break down the architectural blueprint for completely changing that reality.
So why does making more money still feel like you're just standing still? I mean, you might be earning way more right now than you ever thought you would. Maybe you've even doubled your old salary. And yet, you feel completely stuck in the exact same place. We call this the midnight math anxiety. And what the source material reveals is that this isn't happening because you lack discipline. No, it's happening because your lifestyle has been quietly, almost invisibly, adjusting to match your new income. And even more fundamentally, it's because you're operating with an outdated identity. You're stuck seeing yourself as an earner instead of an allocator.
Section 1. Earner versus allocator, escaping the linear game. For basically our entire lives, we are trained to play a linear game. We measure our worth by how much we make per hour or per year. This is what we call the soldier mentality. As a soldier, you're a linear earner. You're just trading your time for money. Work an hour, get paid for an hour. You're constantly hustling, running on that wheel, but never really advancing. And here's the fatal flaw in that strategy. Time is a terrible currency to spend because it simply does not scale. Think about it. If you double your effort, you don't magically double your lifespan, you just exhaust the life you have twice as fast. On the flip side, we have the general mentality. The general is the allocator. They aren't down in the mud swinging a sword. They're up on the hill, overseeing the map, making strategic decisions about exactly where resources need to be deployed.
The exact day everything shifts for you is the day you adopt the ownership lens. This means you stop looking at your money as just a tool to buy things and start seeing it as activated capital. When you look through this ownership lens, you drop the tired earner's question of, what should I do next to make more money? Instead, you start asking the allocator's question, where should I place my attention, my energy, and my capital to build systems that will keep moving even when I'm not? Let's look at the real-world difference between a bucket carrier and a well builder. Now, the bucket carrier looks incredibly productive at first glance. They are always moving, running back and forth, hauling water, delivering immediate results. But man, it is exhausting. The well builder, on the other hand, the allocator, spends their time digging, adjusting, and designing a system. It takes a lot of upfront time, and honestly, it might not look like they're accomplishing much at first. But once that well is finished, a self-flowing system is locked in place. The water just flows, completely independent of their daily effort. So right now, before we dive into the actual mechanics of how to dig this well, I want you to make a mental contract with your future self. Seriously, commit to the shift. Make the decision today that you are finally ready to drop the bucket, stop trading your limited life for money, and start building a system that actually works for you. Section 2. Escaping lifestyle inflation, protecting the gap. Okay, here is the trap we almost all fall into. A raise is not a green light to upgrade your baseline. Most of us treat a bump in pay or a year-end bonus as instant permission to get a better car, a bigger house, or just more everyday luxuries. And sure, pulling out of the dealership in a brand new car feels like progress in the moment. But in reality, you're just tightening the leash on yourself. By upgrading your lifestyle to match that new income, you're actively locking yourself in to needing that higher paycheck just to survive. I really want to let this next point sink in because it's a game changer. Real wealth isn't built in your salary. It is built in the gap. The absolute magic of building your wealth happens entirely in the space between what you earn and what you choose to spend. That space right there, the gap, that is your raw material for wealth. So what do we actually do with this gap? Moving from earning to owning is surprisingly straightforward. Step 1, you have got to stop consuming the gap. Stop spending that extra margin on lifestyle upgrades. Step 2, take that gap and funnel it into boring assets. We are absolutely not looking for flashy, complex, get-rich-quick crypto schemes here. We're talking about highly predictable, unapologetically boring index funds or steady, reliable businesses. You take your activated capital and you park it where it's going to quietly and steadily grow. Section 3. Building your wealth machine. The 3 simple roles. The really great news here is that you absolutely do not need some miracle 1 in a million move to reach $1 million. You just need a machine built on 3 very specific roles. First up is income. The entire role of income is just to reduce your daily pressure so you can actually think clearly. Second is stability. This is the part of your system that protects your foundation, making sure that one bad month or a sudden emergency expense doesn't completely derail you. And third is controlled growth. This is your activated capital deployed into those boring assets we talked about, which keeps you moving forward without exposing you to reckless risk. When you get these 3 working together, it's pure harmony. And once this structure is in place, the rules of the game completely flip. Your job is no longer to be brilliant. Your job is simply to be consistent and honestly to stay out of the way. The heavy lifting is now being handled by the system you built. So step back, let consistency do its thing, and resist the urge to constantly tinker with it. Section 4. Crossing the first threshold, the test of identity. $100,000. The sources make this incredibly clear. The hardest, most completely invisible part of this entire journey is getting to that first $100,000. Why is that? Well, while you're building up to this number, the growth feels completely invisible. You're shoveling money into the gap, buying up those boring assets, and it just feels like this massive, grueling effort for a tiny little return. This is the real test. This is exactly where your new identity as an allocator is forged. But here's the beautiful part. Once you cross this specific threshold, everything shifts again. The math finally takes over, and the system you built actually starts carrying a noticeable portion of the load for you. We all tend to obsess over that $1 million mark as the ultimate finish line, right? But we really need to reframe that goal. $1 million is not actually the goal itself. It's simply the inevitable result of becoming the kind of person who allocates rather than just earns. It is literally just the natural byproduct of your identity shifting from the exhausted bucket carrier to the strategic well builder. I want to leave you with this really powerful, provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today. Your future is protected by what you choose to eliminate today. It's such a profound idea because it isn't just about what you choose to build. It's about the unnecessary lifestyle inflation, that linear soldier mentality, and the exhausting bucket carrying that you actively choose to cut out of your life right now. So think about it. What are you willing to eliminate today to protect your financial future? Keep that front and center as you look at your own map. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Now go keep building that well and keep allocating.